Watching that site visit right there in the Quentin Tellis case, which we played for you, which we're replaying for you all today and all this past week. We covered it back in 2017. And the reason we are re-showing you that whole case, rewinding that whole case, all the clips, including that site visit, is because we believe in 2018 Quentin Tellis will be retried in connection with the death of 19-year-old Jessica Chambers. So you were watching that site visit of a really grisly crime. It was a crime, it was a case that took the nation by storm. We really focused on it. A lot of people were watching it and following it. So we want you to be prepared when in 2018 we believe Mr. Tellis will be retried. But right now I want to move into our second special segment of the day, a really, really sad story that we have to provide an update in. For people that knew about this case, this is out of Texas, there's an update in the case of 20-year-old Texas University student Jordan Taylor, whose body was found under the rear axle of a Skyline party bus at Cool River Ranch on October 29, 2016. The investigation revealed that Taylor, this young girl, was hit by one of the buses the night before and dragged. She was dragged along a gravel road where she sustained multiple injuries, blunt force trauma to the head, resulting in her death. Well, now, the company that was insuring the bus that killed her, they claim that the bus company lied to them, that they lied to the insurance company to keep their insurance. I'm joined right now to talk about this crazy case with criminal defense attorney Yosha Gunasekera. Yosha, what is happening here with the insurance company? Why do they believe that the bus company has lied to them?
Well, I think the bus company made some representations that they weren't actually a party bus company, that they were just a general transportation company. And then the owners of the bus company actually appear to own or be involved with other bus companies, and they had told their insurance company that they only owed the one bus company. And so that creates a variety of additional liability issues for the insurance company that they just weren't anticipating to have to cover.
We're talking about the Manufacturers Alliance Insurance Company, and correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't they send out an investigator, an inspector, before they even granted insurance coverage? And this bus company didn't show them the Skyline party bus, the very bus that killed this young girl, because weren't they maybe afraid if they knew they were operating such a big kind of party bus, they wouldn't have gotten the insurance?
Yes, I definitely think they were probably worried about insurance premiums. If they were providing party buses to young individuals, to college students at a frat party where there would be alcohol served, I don't think any insurance company would want to insure that bus company, or they would make the premium so high that the bus company probably wouldn't even want to pay out that
But misleading an inspector? That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's bad.
That's bad.
It's not good news for the bus company. It seems that they were participating in a lot of deceptive practices and really mismanaging the way this bus was being handled.
Why is this a problem, though? The B&B, this is the bus company, they also allegedly denied having any ownership interest in another public transportation company. That they said that this lawsuit, now that the insurance company has filed, that B&B's manager Brandon Burleson owns and operates at least two other public transportation companies, Skyline Party Bus and San Marcos Tours. Why is that a problem?
So there's a variety of potential liability issues. Let's say the owner uses a bus from one of his other companies and tries to pass it off as one of the insured buses. You have to be very forthcoming to say, look, I actually own or are involved with multiple companies that provide the same sort of service that the insurance company is covering, or it creates confusion, and confusion leads to more liability issues.
Is it possible that if you own a lot of different buses, you might use the wrong bus for a different kind of party or a different kind of event?
Exactly. I mean,
so safety concerns.
There's safety concerns. I mean, you know, certain vehicles are used for certain items and certain things. So I think there's definitely a safety concern, and just they weren't being forthcoming from the start, and that's worrisome.
Do these insurance cases usually work? Are they successful? I mean, let's not forget, there's also another suit going on at the same time. The student's father, Freddie Taylor, is filing a lawsuit claiming wrongful death and gross negligence. He's filed against the fraternities, the sororities, B&B Transportation. We're going to talk about that in a minute, but do you wait to hear what happens in that kind of suit if you're the insurance company? I mean, does this insurance company have a strong case? Is it likely to win?
The insurance company is going to try to do everything they can to not insure this company, because obviously when the father is suing this bus company, the payout is going to come from the insurance company. Now, if the insurance company is no longer involved, they're not going to have to make this potential multi-million-dollar payout, and really the father is only going to be able to get as much money from the company until, I guess, it goes bankrupt.
Right.
But so the insurance company is going to try to preempt everything. They're not going to want to wait until the father of this woman wins in court, because at that point it might be too late. So they're going to want to, this is probably why they're starting this process earlier, and because they just don't want to have to pay out the millions of dollars potentially.
Right, insurance, it's boring, whatever, but it's a really important situation here when we're talking about the liability here. How would this B&B company, this bus company, how could they even defend against these allegations of insurance? They say, hey, we didn't hide anything. I mean, how would they be able to mount a defense against this?
I think they would say that what they hid wasn't enough for them not to get insurance. They have to make the argument that this insurance company would still provide them insurance had they known these factors.
Right.
And that there's other insurance companies that provide similar coverage to companies like them. So it's not, they have to argue that they're really only making this argument now because they don't want to pay out.
And this is only, you're only making this argument now because of this terrible situation that happened, right? And when we talk about it, as we said, the father, Freddie Taylor, is filing a lawsuit. He claims that there were between 2,000 and 3,000 people in attendance at this Halloween party where his daughter died. There wasn't enough security. The bus driver who ultimately was driving the bus that killed this girl claims she never knew that she hit something, just that her bus stopped operating because of the hydraulics. Nobody apparently looked under the bus. Nobody does anything. They abandoned the bus, and this young girl was under the bus from the night before. So when you look at the facts of this, we have a young girl that's dead. She was placed in the care of this bus company and the people that are operating this event. You'd have to say this case of gross negligence and wrongful death is pretty strong, no?
I think there's a lot of blame to go around here. I mean, it's the fraternities and sororities that were providing alcohol to underage individuals. It's the bus company that not only ran over this woman and dragged her, which is just egregious, but then left the bus there to sit overnight. I mean, there's a lot of players here who could really be liable. And I think the fraternities and sororities realize that they're in a lot of trouble. They were suspended immediately, and there's been, an investigation.
And unlike other cases where if it was a DUI or if she could have been as drunk as possible, right? But it didn't matter. She was run over by a bus. So that doesn't play into effect, even if she was drinking, even if she was having a good time, no matter what. It was a very unsafe event that resulted in a bus killing her. She had no, you know what I'm saying? I'm saying it's not like she got behind the wheel of a car.
Oh, exactly. There's plenty of underage college students that drink. Many of them do, but very few, if any, really end up dead in this case. And so when you're looking at it, you have to think something has gone wrong. There's something that doesn't add up. And clearly a bunch of pieces came together for this really unfortunate incident.
Yeah, the 44-page lawsuit that the father filed, he says you have a lot of underage drinking going on there, there's no security, horribly bad lighting, buses driving recklessly around the loop, picking people up and dropping people off. It sounds like a disaster. The university, Texas State, suspended 4 fraternities due to the alcohol that was at the party. Is that enough? Should they have done more?
I think suspension is just the start. I think there might be criminal liability here, and then clearly there's going to be a civil case that the father is filing. And whether you can pinpoint individual fraternities or fraternity members, maybe not the point. Maybe this is coming from high up, from the training that these fraternities, sororities, and Greek life should be giving to these individuals in management of safe events.
And who was driving the bus? I mean, when you think about it, this bus company, they're not only facing a lawsuit from the father, they're going to probably lose, they potentially could lose their insurance coverage. This is something that would bankrupt them, and and they could face, as you say, some sort of other liability. But I think it's also interesting who's driving the bus. That bus driver must feel immense guilt or over what happened, and because at the end of the day, she was the one who was operating the bus.
Exactly. The whole situation is very odd. I mean, she's driving this bus. She says she doesn't hear or feel anything. The brakes of the bus are not working, and then they just leave the bus there overnight. Yeah. It's just a very odd, like, chain of events, and just even leaving the bus abandoned there that night seems odd. And so there's a lot of things that don't add up, and maybe she genuinely didn't know. But again, was she given the proper instructions to be a driver? Was she properly trained? This really goes back to the bus company.
Yeah, I mean, the bus company at the end of the day is the one really on the hook. It's really a sad story, really tragic story. We're going to follow more of it when we have more of an update in that about what's going to happen.